皆さん、英語のそーたです。
Hey everyone, it's Sean.
So we have been making a lot of YouTube videos together,
Yeah.
and we ate some biscuits. We were teaching somebody like a puppy, and this time I want Sean to explain how he has been studying Japanese because I think we're all in this together. Language study. I'm also speaking English. Oh, somebody is this one. She's also learning humans words, so maybe his way of studying Japanese would be really helpful for your English study, right?
Yeah, I think so. So today I've got 3 main tips that I'm going to share with you that I used for when I was studying Japanese and things that I think helped me. So hopefully they'll help you in a similar way for when you study English. So tip number 1, I highly recommend something called spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is when you study something on one day and then you wait about 24 hours to check the same vocabulary or the same grammar point that you studied the day before. Obviously, if you're looking at it the next day, it's very easy to remember what you studied yesterday, right? But what you do is that you gradually increase the spaces between the time that you're restudying. So by that, for example, let's say you study 5 new words on Monday. On Tuesday, you check the same 5 words again, but you don't check them again on Wednesday. You wait 48 hours, so you would check those 5 words on Thursday. So you're getting that gap and it's getting longer and longer. So then when you check that vocabulary again, you probably check it again on Sunday. So now you're leaving like 2 or 3 days space in between. That's what it means when it says spaced repetition. So you're increasing this gap between trying to remember the vocabulary and you're also recalling it a lot easier. And what you find is that the more that you repeat the same vocabulary again and again, actually the easier it is for you to remember.
Oh, is the way of studying known as the official, effective way of studying?
Yeah.
Memorizing?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, because before, in the past, I also made one video like how to memorize words, and actually, without knowing the fact, I was naturally, unconsciously trying that way.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised now.
Yeah, it's an actual tested method.
Yeah, in my case, what I was doing was memorizing some words and going to sleep. And soon after I woke up, I tried to, remember what I memorized yesterday. And then, next day, 3 out of 5, I was able to remember. But, 2, I couldn't. After 2 hours or something, I remembered what I memorized. So like this, I also repeated the same thing. Yeah, so please check my, video in the past. And also, you can try the Sean's way of studying. That's tip number 1.
Tip number 2 is to do with shadowing and repeating. So anytime you are practicing listening to the other language, the best thing to do is try and find maybe a sentence or a short phrase, and as soon as you've heard it, stop, go back, repeat it to yourself and see if you can copy that. By doing that again and again, you start to recognize patterns like intonation. So when you're practicing that kind of listening, you can find... Do you want to sit here? Sitting here is fine, but you can't bite me, okay? So by practicing shadowing, you can notice patterns in the intonation and you can hear how native speakers sound, and then you can adjust the way that you speak to sound more native and more natural. So a lot of the compliments that I get about my Japanese is how natural I sound and how the intonation sounds almost like a Japanese speaker. And a lot of that comes from shadowing, where I've watched Japanese TV shows or I've heard people talking on the train, and what I'm doing is just kind of copying what they're saying, like under my breath, to try and catch that intonation or that native style. So yeah, shadowing works really well.
Yeah, so about listening, shadowing, and about being able to speak with natural phrases, you can copy what the native speakers are saying in public or anywhere. Yeah, and I also introduced the way of studying for listening, like shadowing, in the other video, so you can check another one too. But in your case, like, how do you try to learn natural phrases?
A lot of the time it's from just having conversations with native speakers, or even just hanging out with native speakers and listening how they talk to each other.
So do you have some words you picked from me?
From you?
I know one.
Tsukomi?
No. なるほどね。
なるほどね。I used to say なるほどね
Really?
before. Yeah, なるほどね. I think it was one of the first phrases that I learned.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that's one of my things I often say. So I thought you copied from me, but that's not true.
I've definitely picked up some things from you, I think. Yeah.
Yes, so shadowing and copying.
So tip number 3 is to try and find a material that actually works for you. So everybody learns in different ways. Some people learn better from textbooks, other people learn better from a teacher or from a class. So when I was studying Japanese, I started with a few textbooks and then I would try and practice with my Japanese friends online and use the same grammar points that I'd learned from the textbook. And they were saying things like, in Japan we don't really say this, or Japanese it's more natural to say it like this. So I think using just that kind of textbook isn't really the best for me, but for you it might work. How to speak Japanese quickly and these kind of courses. Obviously, those kind of courses don't exist. There's no shortcuts, just like there's no easy way to shortcut and speak English. So any of these courses or textbooks which say, learn English in 24 hours, please do not waste your money. Please don't waste your time on those things. The only way that you're going to learn how to speak English is the same way that I learned how to speak Japanese. It takes a long time and it takes a lot of hard work. So the best thing to do is find a material or course that works best for you and makes you feel comfortable, and then you can find that pattern and you can start to enjoy how you study.
Yeah, so I totally agree with him. Anyone can use any materials, but there is one thing I can't agree with, and there is one thing I strongly disagree with, is that some people say within 3 months or within 1 week you can speak English fluently. But actually, that's not true. It takes so much time. And as I explained, in my case, it took about 2 years. And in his case, he has been, studying over
5 years
or something. So, please don't trust those exaggerated information. And also, do you have any recommendations for English learners, especially for people who want to get natural phrases in a fun way?
I think the best advice that I can give, especially to Japanese people who are studying English, is to try and get over the fear of making mistakes. I think a lot of Japanese people who are studying English take it very seriously and they don't want to make mistakes. And then they feel that kind of embarrassment when they make a mistake. Making mistakes is fine because making mistakes is how you learn.Right?
はい、皆さん今日の動画はいかがでしたでしょうか。ためになりましたらいいねやチャンネル登録、シェア、コメントなどから感想をお待ちしております。本当に英語学習っていろんな方法があると思うんですよね。あるいは言語学習も。でもこのショーンのやり方というものが一つ何か皆さんの参考とか、私もこのアプローチをしてみようという視野の広がりのお役に立てていたら嬉しいなと思います。いい加減言葉覚えなさい。You should learn my words. はい、僕は SNS 英語のソータという名前でインスタもツイッターも出てきますので、ぜひフォローしてください。ショーンもショーン・ブラッドリーで検索していただくと出てくると思いますので、ぜひチェックしてみてください。はい、ではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。バイ。